Hi y'all. Today is Tuesday, the 13th of February 2024. It's actually just after 2 o'clock over here on the East Coast. And I wanted to jump on really quickly to talk about something that's important to me. And it also is very hurtful to me, although I'm smiling, but that's because I'm generally a happy person. But I do get hurt sometimes, and I'll be down and out for a while, but never forever. Especially when dealing with family, that those type of issues tend to be the most hurtful. So I have a question that I'm looking for answers on. What kind of parent tells their child you're going to hell? I love you, but you're going to hell. And it's so funny because I've heard this before, but it just hit me differently recently. It was just like, wait, this is demonic. Like you're like evil. For a long time, people would pass it off. I have passed it off in my family, my siblings, for example, my sibling. We've passed it off as, oh, well, he's just Christian. That's how he is, But I don't always want to give a pass. Why should I? Why should I sit down and subject myself to that kind of verbal abuse, which you can really call it that, especially if I'm not a Christian and I'm living my life. I believe in God. I don't believe in God. I know God. I walk tightly with God, and I try to do the right thing at all times. There's no perfection, but in that and of itself is kind of perfect though, right? Because that's how we are. We're different expressions of God. No matter what we disagree on, doesn't make me less godlike than you. It makes me wonder, how godlike are you really? Because you have a daughter who's living her life in a very moral way, right? I'm not going around hurting people, committing crimes, breaking laws. I'm not going around doing that. In fact, I commit myself to self-improvement so that even when I do mess up or I make mistakes, or there's things I can do better or say better, I work on that. I do. I work on it. If someone lets me know, I may not be aware. Even if I dismiss it in the beginning, like, I don't know what you're talking about, I'll sleep on it. I'll think about it because I'm cerebral, very much. So I'll sit down and I'll think about it. I'll ruminate over it for a while, and then not before long, I realize, you know what? I could have said that better or did that better, right? And I try to work on it for next time. But, I'm a work in progress, but I actually see more progress every day. So I'm there for people, right? I'm there for my family as much as I can be. But somehow I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell. Meanwhile, and I've had these conversations with my father before, there could be someone who is just a vile individual committing crimes left and right. Their entire life is like a career criminal, really hurting people, right? Or whatever. And in their last breath of life, on their deathbed, they could give themselves to Christ and they're going to heaven. That's a huge slap in the face for me, because it's like, isn't the Bible supposed to be a moral compass, a guide through how to live life? Isn't that kind of the intention behind it? Or is it only about where you go when you die? What would be the point? I could never buy into a religion that would allow for someone to literally run people, not people, but just live a very foul life for their entire life, right? Not learning any lessons, not improving themselves, not apologizing and correcting behavior. But when they get that last, that get towards the end of their life and things are tough, they feel lonely, they feel guilty, all of a sudden guilt starts rushing in, and they're like, oh, no, I repent. And just like that, they're going to heaven, no matter what they've done in their entire lifetime. So I'm just really confused by that, but I'm also just over it too. I'm over it. I'm over it. Like, it doesn't get me down anymore. Rather, now I just feel like, okay, you and I are not the same. We could be blood. That doesn't make us family. And it certainly doesn't make us of the same ilk. We're not the same. And I'm going to continue living my life, right? The way that I need to. And I consult with God daily when things are going bad. When things are going great, it doesn't matter. I don't reach out just for help through difficult times. Like, I'm grateful. I show gratitude all the time. Sometimes, I'll just get little synchronicities or messages or whatever, and I know it's from my spirit guides. I know that there are energies watching over me, protecting me, helping to guide me. And I acknowledge that. When things are great, I'm thankful. When things suck, I'm still thankful too, even though it sucks, but I'm thankful because I look at it like redirection. Sometimes it's redirection, right? As they say, rejection is your protection, stuff like that. But also sometimes it's to churn me into who I'm supposed to be. Like they say about a pearl, right? And the vigorous process that it undergoes to become a beautiful pearl, right? There's a lot of pressure and challenge involved in that. So even through tough challenges and with people who harm me, right, or cause me pain, I'm still grateful. I don't hold hate in my heart for anyone, really, honestly. Hate is not really in my vocabulary. I'm using it now because this is the language that this is how you communicate things to people, right? You use words that they understand. It's not a part of my reality. So I don't have to say I don't hate people because it's not in my reality. But I also know that there's a bigger purpose for people like that in our lives. Doesn't mean you should stay there or keep them in your lives or even maintain the same relationship. Sometimes you have to change your relationship around what's been going on, or sometimes you have to completely separate. Yes, I know all too well the lone wolf that I am. Anyway, black sheep, whatever, all these different terms. Ultimately, I'm just me, and I'm doing things the way that I'm guided to do them. And if, you know what else I say too, sometimes when you're dealing with intuition, you could second guess yourself. You can be like, damn, is this really my intuition? Am I really getting divine guidance? Or is this my mind at work? Am I a little crazy? You start thinking stuff like that. So I say to myself, well, I'm still gonna follow it through. I'm still gonna follow the guidance. If it turns out I was wrong or I made a mistake, I will do whatever I can to make it right. When you're dealing with other people, you can't guarantee it'll be made right. You can't guarantee that they'll accept you back in, even with an apology. So all I can do is hope for the best possible outcome for all parties involved, right? For the highest good of all. That's what I hope for. So even when I'm wrong, I'll do my best to make things right. But I don't think I'm wrong because I'm getting to understand my intuition very, very strongly, and listening to it and trusting it, and keeping that tether between me and my spirit form and my spirit team, right? The ethereal body of knowledge. Is that the right word? Ethereal? What's the word? I'm having a blank. Whatever. Just, the all-knowing. Okay, let's just move on. So that's what I'm saying. I keep that tight. So I'm trusting my intuition more now. I'm rambling a little bit, but it's just because I didn't really plan this out. Just kind of want to get some words out right now, and also try to, build some structure going forward around kind of things I may want to talk about or share time to time. But yeah, so that's basically the problem is when in life you find that even if it's your loved ones, most times it is. And, we can give them excuses. We can make excuses for their behavior. Oh, my dad, he's just a Christian. That's why he says stuff like this. It's not okay, and it doesn't have to be okay. It's okay for it to not be okay. You're a whole adult. I am a whole adult. So I can't stand for someone. I look at that like witchcraft, because you're speaking something over on me to say I'm going to hell. You're speaking that's so dark to speak onto me. Now, if that's the religion and the book and the ways that you choose to follow, do it as it serves you. I hope it serves you well, or as it should. But I don't practice that, and I don't believe that. So for me, it's not the Bible that's casting this destination on me. I leave that to God in the final analysis as to where I'm going. And let me tell you, I'm okay with fire. God made fire like he made air, earth. What's the other one? Earth, air, wind, fire. No. Earth, air, water. Like he made water. So it's like, I'm not afraid of fire. If I'm going to be burning for eternity, well, damn it, baby, let it burn. Let it burn. He doesn't like that when I tell him stuff like that. When I'm like, okay, I'm not afraid. He doesn't like that. He's trying to like scare me like, oh, you're saying that now, but not when you're surrounded in eternal flames. And I'm like, bring it on. Because if I live my best life and I consult with God on a daily basis and God decides I'm going to hell, I accept. I'll just have a really, really nice tan. So I feel like it's witchcraft when you're speaking something like that onto me that's not in my reality. It's not in my reality. I believe that heaven and hell are here on earth. Heaven and hell are states of being. I feel like I'm in hell when I have a father telling me that I'm going to hell. And I feel like I'm in heaven when I'm able to free myself from stuff like that and really live authentically to me, to have basically like a guidance, a compass throughout life. I feel like I'm in heaven to know that I have such resources, although they're not found physically. Not right now. I don't have that in the physical, like support and all that. I have some support, but not from where you would expect it from, like family. So my support is heavily and pretty much entirely spiritual. And I do not see that as a loss or as a setback or like I'm missing something. I don't see it that way. I see it as, well, damn it, there's a lot of people who can't even see or understand spirit, so their support is people, and I don't want people leading me. If it comes to like I'm married or something like that, that's a little different. Because if I'm married, then that is someone who has shown himself worthy to lead me. And I'm open to that. I'm very open to that. That's what I want. I don't want to be wearing the pants in a relationship. I'd rather just not be in one. And I'd rather stay celibate until that day. I'm totally fine with that. I don't want to be under the wrong leadership. So until then, I do lead myself, and I also allow God to lead me first and foremost. But when you have a bunch of people around you that you know you're dependent on them for your support, sometimes they'll lead you all kind of ways. And people only know what they know. And so if you don't know spirit and you rely on your guidance from other people, you're basically not allowing yourself to live your unique life through your experience. You're not really, you're being influenced by everyone else's experience around you and whoever you value, right? And who you view as, oh, this person, I should listen to them. Sometimes you listen to them and you go right down the wrong road, or you never get to tap in and listen to the all-knowing. The answers are there. They're within you. You just have to know how to tap in. So I don't take that as a loss or as a disadvantage at all. I take it as an advantage and a strength. So that's where we're at with things. So like I said, with family, if it gets to that point where you start to, when you have that moment that you realize, I don't have to deal with this. That's it. That's the whole point. You don't have to. You can actually walk right through the door. You don't have to deal with it just because it's family. Don't let people guilt you into that. Just because they're old or poor or whatever people would feel bad for people, whatever reasons. It's not on you to stay there and continue to be assaulted by somebody so that you protect their feelings. It's not on you. If they value you in their life, then they should also value you as a person. Accept you as a person, respect your boundaries. I saw a short video about a guy who does OnlyFans, and he used his OnlyFans money to pay for his sister's tuition and to retire his father. His father was still working. And it was just it was such a weird moment, because like, okay, you're doing porn, you know, and a lot of people would keep that secret from their family. Their family would never accept them. But here he is with his video, and he goes in and records himself throwing money at his father and saying, "You never have to work again," or whatever. He was like, no, he said, my DICK retired you, something like that. And the father laughed about it. They shared a laugh. He just was like so grateful in that moment. He was in disbelief, but it was just like so accepting. It wasn't like judgmental, like, oh, my son, I disown my son because he's not living the way that I think he should live. He's doing porn, you know. But because of that, they were able to maintain an authentic relationship, not superficial, not just mental, an authentic relationship. And look, in turn, the son really helped him. And I'm sure that meant so much to the son to be able to do that for his father. Amazing. These are the relationships that you want to cultivate. Your kids are people too. They're not gonna always grow up to do what you think they should do. And that's okay. In fact, you're better off if you notice whatever gifts they have or what interests they have when they're young and their quirks, and help to nurture that and just guide them so that they have more control over it, and that they can monetize it one day or help others or just be mentally healthy, right? Not feeling rejected by your own friends and family. I'm at the point now where rejection to me is not a thing. Like, I'm like, okay, this is just really a relief for me. It's just releasing me, saying I don't have to deal with it. Perfect. But when you're young, that's because I'm an adult, I've done a lot of inner healing work. When you're a child, yeah, that kind of rejection, if you don't get on top of it, it can really do some mental damage. This is just the story of like that situation with my father, but there's so much more going on with other people as well, that maybe I'll make more videos on as time goes on. Don't really just want to blurt everything out one video. But I just wanted to know, maybe there's other, look, people are gonna jump in here, really diehard Christians. Oops, sorry. Diehard Christians may jump in here and be like, oh, your father, he just loves you. You need to give yourself to Jesus Christ. Okay, whatever, right? But for any children or offspring of Christian parents and you're non-Christian, how do you deal and navigate with that? Are your parents accepting? Are they pushy with their beliefs? Like, do you have a good relationship? Do you no longer speak? Like, how does that work out for you? How do you deal with it? And if there happen to be any Christian or any heavily religious parent, really, same thing, right? Whose daughter or son do not have the same beliefs, how do you deal with them? Do you impose your beliefs onto them, or do you allow them to be themselves? You know, so these are questions I have. But I know for me, lesson learned. You're just not able to tell me, right, what you think anymore because we're not speaking, and I'm okay with that. Should there come a day where he has an awakening and realizes, no, you know what, my behavior has not been good, I'm always open to, but it has to be genuine, and it can't be like the next day, because generally these things take time to work through. It's inner work that a lot of us are afraid to do, especially with religion. Sometimes it gives you a crutch. It gives you a crutch that makes you feel like, oh, God will take care of it. God will make a way, you know, and we know there's no faith without works, but a lot of times people will just kind of feel like everything will work itself out, and they're not doing the steps that they need to do to improve the situation. So like I said, if he was to genuinely turn around on this and then not behave like that again, I'm totally open to reconnecting. But at this point, no, I'm gone and I feel good about it. Gone Girl. No, not a good example, because that movie meant something else. But I'm a gone girl in my own way. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. I'm gonna get back on these phones. I have a client to meet with now. But until next time, bye.